In this video, I'm playing a 5-point match against XG. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. I appreciate your super thanks. These are small donations that allow me to continue to create the high quality content that you enjoy. My book, Backgammon, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. So here I'm playing a 5-point match against XG. I'm playing on a beautiful Hector Sachs board. This is the Slate and Magnolia colors. The XG board is made by Rain. He makes beautiful boards. I'll put a link in the description to where you can get it. I'll be playing the blue checkers at the bottom, XG the orange checkers at the top. So XG starts with the 3-1, making his 5-point, and it's double six. That was the best opening roll, and that was the best reply to the opening roll. Now with the 6-5, the 6 was forced. Okay, so now I don't have a double quite yet, although when you own both par points, it's pretty strong. Because the opponent owns the 5-point, that's actually very strong. So not quite yet. I'm going to bring this down and then slide the builder here. 5-3 is going to hit. 6-4 comes in and out, and yep, 5-3 safeties. Okay, so now 5-1. Just going to bring this down to minimize shots and unstack the heavy 6-point with the 1. 6-4, so now it's a mutual holding game. 6-5, so I can play like this, slot the points in the board, or I can make the point and slot the deeper point. I think because orange has this spare to play, not going to leave a block quite yet, so I'll do this, and this will allow me to create a strong board next with many rolls. Okay, so it did leave a shot. So now with the 4-1, I can hit. If I hit, then I'll want to cover. So I can cover it like this. I can cover like this. I can cover like this. I think I just have to wait a little bit and cover here and cover the next point. 5-3 safeties. Okay, 6-2. Can't abandon the anchor. I'm behind in the race. I don't want to break the midpoint because it does give some pressure on orange's midpoint. So I'll have to play this 6 deep. And then I can play the 2 here, putting a spare nicely here, or I can save a 6 by doing this. This is a little awkward, and the race is relatively close, only 4 pips behind, so may not need to save the crossover. All right, 6-4. Now, if I play off the 7, I'll have to play like this, and this gets things too deep. Now I can abandon the midpoint. 4-2. 4s here. I'd like to keep my checker spread, but I'm going to play 9-7. That way I have a solid 5 prime, so it can't escape with a 6 or break the midpoint. 5-4, double 5. Okay, so that was a good roll for me. When you own this point, you're looking for a good roll like a double 5 or a double 4. That only occurs twice out of every 36 rolls, but each additional roll that you wait, it's another opportunity for that to happen. So now I'm ahead by 7 in the race. Still not quite enough to double. So now the race is even. I have 2 crossovers to 3. I have a more efficient bear off structure. At 5-way, you can double a little bit more aggressively than for money. But I think I need a little bit more of a racing lead to be able to double, so not a double yet. 6-3. I want to play the 6 to the 2 point because if I play to the ace point, it's deep and inefficient. Additionally, the 3 will allow me to come on the 4 point here. Okay. So now I gained a pip. I have an extra crossover. There's a semi gap here, which may prove to be inefficient. Still, I don't think it's quite enough. 6-5, that was a good roll. May be able to get one now. Okay, so now I'm ahead by 5 pips. My baseline is 51, so that's almost 10%, but I have an additional crossover. Think this is a double, probably still a take. Yeah, okay, so now it's relatively straightforward. Just bearing off checkers. So just want to bear off whatever you can. So like the 4 I bear off, and the 3, I'm going to play 6 to 3 to fill in the gap. Alternatively, I can play 5 to 2, but that leaves these gaps. So now if I roll a 4 or 3, I cannot bear off a checker. However, here, after this play, if I roll a 3, I can bear off a checker. 5-2, 2 crossovers, 4-3. All right, now it's close. The race is even. 6-5, that was a great roll for me. All right, that was a bad roll. All right, now needs a double 3 or higher? No. Okay. 6-4 made the 2-point, being down in the score 5 away, 3 away. Double 4, that's a good roll. Anytime you can make the 20-point anchor, it's good. And then bringing 2 checkers down, making the 9-point is good. When you have the checkers on the 6, 8, and 9 point, it's very strong. Rolls with 4s and 3s play really well. Look at how many rolls you have to make the 5-point. So 4-3, 4-1, and 3-1. This is not including the doubles like double 1, double 2, double 4. And then there are many numbers that make the 4-point, such as 5-4, 5-2, 4-2, as well as the doubles, and so forth. So this is a very strong structure. All right, so race is even. I think if I had a slightly bigger lead in the race, and maybe if it were 1-0, 4 away, 5 away, it may double. You double more aggressively at that score. 6-4, so I'm able to point on head. It does make a deep point, but it makes a second innerboard point that equalizes the board strengths, and it puts a checker on the bar. And let's see, the other thing I look at when I put a checker on the bar is how do the opponent's numbers play that don't come in. For example, here, 6s and 2s do not come in. So how do rolls that contain those numbers that come in play? For example, a 5 with a 6, a 4 with a 6, a 3 with a 6, or a 1 with a 6. So that's going to leave lots. 6-5, 6-4 will come out here. 6-3 will come in and probably come out, or maybe come down. 6-1 will likely come out. So those are not good. What about 2s? Well, 3-2 will anchor. What about 5-2? It's not that great because the 5 enters high where I'd like to make that point, and so does the 4, and then the 2 will have to safety or something. So think about those numbers when you hit. Okay, 4-1. All right, so now I have some attacking numbers. I do have this anchor. I have a 2-point board. I'm up by 7 pips in the race. So think about what are the good numbers, what are the bad numbers. So let's see, 4-3, 4-1, 3-1. That's 6 numbers that point on head immediately. Also, double 1, double 3, and double 4. That's another 3 numbers, and double 2 will do it as well. That's 4 numbers. So that's 10 numbers, and also rolls like double 6s and double 5s. However, I don't have much priming value. It's just kind of attacking value. So if the blitz fails, it may be difficult to continue. If I don't roll something good to point on head, I'm going to have to likely strip the midpoint, and soon I'll probably have to break this anchor. And if I break the anchor and comes back in and hits, then I'm not very happy. So I'll take a roll here, double 2, so that was a good roll. I'm able to point on head. Okay. So now with the 13-pip lead in the race, own both 5 points, 3-point board, anchor to a deep anchor, and a shot here I can double. Still a take. Okay, 6-4. So do I want to break the anchor? That was the thing. If I break the anchor, I come here. That just gives a lot of shots here. I don't want to do that, especially with the score. Just have to play something relatively safe, minimize the shots, just leave a single blot there. It does not really duplicate any twos. However, I think that's the best play. 5-3, okay. 6-5. So the 5 I'm going to cover, and the 6 I'll just have to play safe because now orange has a 3-point board. All right, 3-1, 6-4. So now is the time. Fewer shots here, dilly builder here, gap here. I have a stronger board, a 4-point board versus a 3-point board. 6-3 hits. Okay, now I dance. Okay, so now it's a redouble, but I have a lot still going for me with these gaps. This point is slotted, which is what orange would like to make. But if he doesn't make it, then I might be able to anchor, might have return shots. I think it's a comfortable take. So 6-5 there, double 3. So now I cannot redouble because I'm at 3 away and I own a 4 cube. So I have to play the game until its conclusion. That's one of the benefits of doubling on the last roll as orange. It kills the cube. So I can no longer win by redoubling and getting a pass because the cube is dead. Additionally, if it were a money game, for example, I could redouble and win more points, but in this case, I cannot. So I have no value of owning the cube now. Okay, so 2-1. The 1, I come in, and the 2, can't move this back checker. I can move this here. It does leave 1s, 2s, and 6s to hit. But what's the alternative? I don't want to break the midpoint. I don't want to slot the 4-point. Just going to come here. Notice that the 2s and 6s that do not come in are able to hit. However, the 1 that comes in is duplicated to hit. However, I really didn't have any other choices. So what does that mean? That means 6-4, 4-2, 4-1, 6-1, 2-1, and double 1 hit. And yeah, 6-2 does not. Okay, so now I have shots here. Okay, did not get it. So I'm gonna come out with a 6 here because I'm ahead in the race. I need to get things moving. Bring this down. Now the aces that hit are duplicated, so only a 4-1 and a double 1 as well as a 6-4. So that's only 5 numbers. And if I miss, I have a double shot here. Although the 6-2 would be duplicated to make this pointer hit. Okay, 6-1 is not. So I'm going to hit with the 1, and then I can either play down that safeties and doesn't really do anything. I can just bring this and brings a builder. It does risk that double 1 joker, but other than that, there are many more good rolls for me. So, okay, double 6. So that's completely forced. 1, 2, 3. Not a good roll. Double 3. All right. So now the 1. Let's go there, and the 4. I'm just going to bring around. 6-1. I was hit. 6-1 comes in, and if I come in here, the 2s that hit here are duplicated with the 2s here, so only 6s and 2s, as well as well, the 6-1 is duplicated because the 6 hits. 5-2 is duplicated because the 2 hits anyway, so it's only additional 4-3. Okay, 6-1. Okay, so that's forced is a good roll. 4-3. Just going to come around. Leave those shots because orange has 2 blots on the board. The alternative would be to do this, which don't want to kill those checkers deep, or this, which leaves 2 blots with a direct shot, and it gives 2s and 3s to hit, and 4s and 5s and 1s to cover. So not so good, although these numbers are diversified too. The 6-4 that hits here is duplicated to hit here and cover. All right, 5-3, so the 5 is good. The 3, so if I come here, this leaves 3 numbers that hit. So 4-1, 2-1, and double 1. That's 5 numbers. If I play like this, it's only 5-1 and 4-1 that hit. And then I get a direct shot back. However, I'm not closer to bringing things home. I really need to bring this checker home. So I think it's worth it to leave an extra shot here. Okay, let's hit 4-1, 1, and I can either play to the 7, but that risks getting another checker sent back, or play up. I know it looks dangerous because it's coming under the gun, but I need to start moving. All right, I was hit. Now dance. Okay, 3-2 dance. All right, so now I'm an underdog again. Just need to try to save the gammon here. I'm going to try to maximize crossovers. So 4-2. Does this work on double 4s? No. 4-2, 1. No, it's only double 5s and double 6s. 4-2. Nope. Now I'll analyze the match. So with the 3-1, it was clear to make that point, and then the double 6 is the best. Second roll after the 3-1 is to just make both bar points. And then with the 4-1, it was just bring one down and then slide the builder. With the 6-4, there was nothing really better than just come in and go to the outfield. And the 5-1 was just bring one down. Okay, the 6-5 here, this is what I played, trying to build the board, resulting in this position. It prefers the other play that I looked at, which was making the board immediately, but putting the blot deep. Okay, and then with the 4-1 here, this was a big blunder. I decided to make my board because I didn't want to hit and leave a blot on the board. However, the best play was actually to hit and lift and play 5-4, which results in this position. So the key thing here is it produces 4 dancing numbers: 6-4, double 6, and double 4. After this, 6-4 is not so bad. Double 4 is not bad, and double 6 is not bad. So this is the dice distribution. So let me go back to play A. Is this the hitting and making the 4 points? That results in this position. And orange has 2 blots here. Play B is what I did actually here, resulting in this position. Do have the best 3-point board, the rack, and a solid 4 prime, but I don't have a checker to hit. So this is the differences. This is after the top play on the upper left and my play on the upper right. You see, there are a lot of big swings here. A lot of really good rolls, like the dancing rolls all lead to a pass, but the hitting rolls, let's see, double 1 and 3-1, which after here, let's see, after here, 3-1 and double 1 are really bad because they hit and cover. So those are really bad. You see, there's a lot of dark green and dark red, whereas here it's mostly neutral. It's low volatility. What happens is when you look at the difference, these differences in the dancing rolls outweigh the differences in the hitting rolls. So you can see the 6-4, double 6, and double 4 outweigh all those other ones that hit double 3, double 1, and 3-1. Okay, so what is the effect of the fact that orange has these two blots here. So I'll paste the position here, and let's say there was just one blot. Still, it's the right play. Let's say there was a board point like that. Now you have to play safe. You see now hitting is way down. What if the point were here? Still, hitting is still a blunder. So, going back to this position, because of the fact that there were two blots here, it was okay to hit, despite the fact that it left so many shots. You can see after this play, double three is 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a really strong roll. However, it's worth it. So this is a really good way for me to learn. People say, okay, you can't learn from XG, but if you use the tools and features the right way, you can actually learn a lot. So what I do is I look at the dice distribution feature and see how the rolls play after the top play and after my play, and that'll tell me the differences. And then I go to another board and I modify the position, and I see now that there's you don't have two blots in the board, then it makes a difference. Now, what if there were two blots and let's see. If this were like this, it would be clear to hit and cover. What else? I don't know off the top of my head, but these are the things that you can do. You modify the position and see what changes you can make to make the correct play incorrect or the second play correct. All right, so the 6-2, it didn't really matter. Just play there. And the 6-4, I had to bring 2 down there. And the 4-2 was just covered. These didn't really matter. The double 5 was a good roll because I was able to raise. And then the 6-1, there was, oh, and here was the double indecision. So here, let's go to initial. I didn't have quite a double here. So let's look at these cube decisions here. This was not a double. I wasn't ahead in the race. Here, this was still not a double, but the race is even. So let's look at some modifications here. Well, we can look at this one too. Okay, so, and then here it was a double and it was a take. Okay, so let's see. So what I do is I copy the position with Control Shift and C for copy, then I paste it into a new instance of XG. So now this, as we saw, it already did the plus analysis, it's no double and a take. So I'm only up by 1 pip and 1 crossover, and this is a little inefficient. Let's say I'm up by an additional pip. So how much of a difference? Now it's close. What if it's another pip? Okay, now it's a borderline no double. So up by 3 pips, the crossover. What if I bring this out but fill this gap? Yeah, the gap filled, or alternatively, so let's look at this, for example. This was no double take. This is borderline. Okay. Now let's go give him a pip there and subtract a pip there. That's a bigger no double because it's the same racing lead, but this gap has been filled. Okay, and this crossover is farther. So these are the kinds of things you want to do so you can understand these positions well. And this one, now it was a double and it was still a take. So here, what can I do to make it not a double? So What if I had the extra crossover here? Now I'm only up by 4 pips. Now it's a borderline double. Because that extra crossover, that was big. That makes a big difference. So now it goes from a borderline double to a big double. Okay, so what would make it a pass? What if I had one more checker off? Now it's a pass. So you can see here, when you modify these positions, you learn a lot. In the original position, I saw it was a double and it was a take. So the reason why I thought it was a double and it was a take was because my baseline pip count is 5. I'm ahead by 5 pips. That's almost 5%, but I also have a crossover. So you can also do the eyesight method, but I already know that there's no real adjustments here. There's just that extra crossover, which becomes big. And I saw when you go back and modify it, if you lose the crossover, now it's a borderline double. And if you get an extra crossover, now it's a pass. This is the pass, and now this one is the borderline double. And here the equity is 687. Now it's 913 with 78% winning chances. This is only 73% winning chances. And this is 81% winning chances with an equity of 1.059. So you see, every pip makes a difference. So what about leaving it in the original position and maybe gaining an extra pip here? So let's look at this again. Now it's almost a pass. Just this one pip makes a big difference. Okay, so this is a shorter race, so one pip makes a difference. If you have a long race, like 100 pips, and you're still bearing in, one pip may not make a big difference because one pip out of a baseline of 100 is only 1%, but at a baseline of 50, it's 2%. So that makes a difference. All right, so let's continue. Then there was nothing here to really look at. Go to the next game. The double 4 was a good roll. 6-4 was just to make a 2-point on head, and the double 5. So the double 2. I was looking here. Here it wasn't quite a double yet. I was looking at this. What if I had like the 4 points? Now I don't have as much of a racing lead. So now the equity is 585. It's a stronger position, and I'm winning 62% with 468. Now I'm winning 66% with 585. So that makes a difference. Okay. Here, this was actually still not a double. Okay, that's interesting. Probably, I assume because of the score. So let's look at it as 0-0 score, 5 away, 5 away. Now it's a double. Let's say it's a 4 away, 5 away. Now it's a pass. Look at that, because of the fact that I win gammons. At 4 away, 5 away, the leader wants to double more aggressively than the trailer, especially when he wins gammons, because if I win a double gammon, I win the match with perfect efficiency. I need 4 points, I get exactly 4 points. And that's really bad. So here I have 20% gammons. So in a money game, it's barely a double, but it's a strong position. If you look at a match, now let's look at 4 away, 4 away. Again, this is a strong double and it's a pass because of the fact that the gammons win the match. At 4 away, 3 away, now it's a bigger pass. And at 4 away, 2 away, probably maybe even too good to double, almost too good to double. Okay. What about at 3 away, 4 away? It's not quite a double because if you win a double gammon, you get 4 points, so that gives you 6, and you only need 5. So that's 1 point of overage or wastage. This is a very good lesson for people that are studying match play. So now 3 away, 3 away. So now it's a double and it's a pass. At three-way, you're a little bit more aggressive to double and more cautious to take. So a little bit about match strategy. The most important thing is the away score. Your away score is different than the absolute score. So here the absolute score is 2-0 in a 5-point match. I have 2 points, XG has 0 points. However, it's more important to understand how far you are away from your goal. In this case, it's a 5-point match, so the goal is to get to 5 points. I have 2 points, so I am 3 away from that goal. XG has 0 points, so XG is 5 away. So I'm leading 3 away, 5 away. In general, when you're ahead in the match, you want to be a little bit more cautious when doubling. And when you're behind, you want to be a little bit more aggressive in doubling, as well as in taking. However, one of the important things is to think about what score you will get to if you do not double and win, if you do double and win, if you do not double and win a gammon, if you do double and win a gammon, if you double and lose, and so forth. You want to go through all these possibilities. Anytime you can get to exactly 0 away, so getting exactly 5 points in a 5-point match, that's really good. Anytime you get more than that, that's called overage or wastage. It's extra points that you had to fight for, but you didn't need. It's like, say you run a 100-yard race, and say it's a 10-point match and each point is 10 yards. So if you get 11 points, that's like running 110 yards. So you were forced to run 110 yards to win the race rather than only 100 yards. Or if you get to 12 points, it's like you have to put in the extra energy to run an additional 20 yards when you don't need to. So it's wasteful. You don't want to do that. These are the kinds of things you want to do. You want to look at positions that are doubles and takes and modify the score to see what would happen. Okay? So that's a good exercise. Now the 6-4 just had to come in and play as safe as possible here. And the 6-5 I had to clear. 6-4 now was time to run. Okay? Before, this was not time to run. Here was an error. It just leads to too many open shots. I remember reading Michi's book about back checker strategy, when to break the anchor. And basically is when your board is ready. So that's a little bit vague, but the board's not quite ready yet. But this was the time. Okay, then I danced, and then it was a redouble. But still a take. Look, orange is only winning 55% of the time. 22% gammons, but the gammons are devalued. Because once the cube gets to 4, if orange wins 4 points on a single game, he gets to 4 out of 5, or 1 away. If he wins a gammon, it's 8 points. So that's 3 extra points. So you can look here, like, look at the gammon value on a 4 cube for orange. It's 0.332. It's less than half the normal amount for money games. Okay, so that means it's wasteful. The way you do this is you can go to cube information. I hit Control, Alt, and K, or you can go to cube information under Analyze there. Okay, I do all the shortcut keys. So then I rolled a 6-5, which was forced. What else do we have? The 2-1 was just come in and come out. Didn't want to really break anything else. And the 6-3 was anchor and come down, although the safe play was close. Now the 6-1. Oh, wow. Look at that. It liked this play. I didn't even consider it. So this is something that's like really important. I didn't even notice that the ones can hit here because I was looking here. It's always very important to look at the entire board, both before you roll and after you roll, to see what you can do. So the plays were close, but what happens after this play is I just leave a blot here. After this play, I leave these blots here, and it's going to be kind of a mess. Despite the fact that I have a blot here, even if I'm hit, I still retain the anchor, and orange has gaps in the board. Additionally, if I missed, I can cover with 6s and 5s and also hit with 1s and 2s. So the numbers are diversified. So that's something I did not notice. The double 6 was forced. The 4-1 looked like it liked this one, resulting in this position. Okay, they were close. So let's see what else. 6-1, they were close, but it preferred coming down. Okay. The 6-1 was forced, and then the 4-3. So this is where you want it to run. Coming out here leaves 2 blots like this. Don't want to do that. Then the 5-3 was good, and the 2 plays were close that I was looking at. So not a big deal. And here's the 4-1. So I entered here. Entering on the 1 and playing the 4 down here results in this position, and that's really awkward. They were close. They were closer than I thought. And I couldn't move here. What else? And then I was just trying to save the gammon. And that was it. That was it. Okay, so that was the match. That was fun. I learned a few things. There were some interesting things that I did. And again, the way I learn from XG is by going through the match, and more importantly, going through the match afterwards and analyzing every single play, because sometimes there are plays that you may have gotten right that you weren't sure of. If you just go through your errors, you may not have been sure of a certain position, but you got it right and you didn't really look at it because it was passed over because it wasn't an error. It's important to look at the positions that you not only got wrong, but the ones that you got right, but you weren't 100% sure of. And the way I do that is by looking at the position, then I put it in a dice distribution. I have that dice distribution available for USBGF premium members. There's a video on the channel about that. So you can learn what happens. And what that does is it trains you to think about these kinds of things. So for example, when I made that second board point with the top play that I missed, I saw that like 6-4, double 6, and double 4 dance. And that's really important to understand. Anytime you can give checkers, you can give rolls for your opponents to dance. That's really important to consider, and consider how those rolls would play if you didn't make that play. The other thing you can do is modify the position like I did. I modified many of the positions. For example, the double and cube decision where it was a race, modified it by 1 pip, getting an extra crossover, moving a pip, a checker 1 point back or forward, see what differences it makes. And oftentimes they make a big difference. So that will teach you to look at the patterns, look at how many checkers off, look at the distribution, look at the race, how many pips you're ahead, and so forth. Additionally, when you're playing a match, the score is important. So anytime you have a doubling decision, with checker plays as well, but especially with doubling decisions, the doubling decisions change depending on the score of the match. So you want to look at it, score of the match at different scores, change the scores. That'll tell you when you have to be more aggressive, and it teaches you a lot about how you have to play in a match as opposed to in a money game or at a match at a different score. So that was the match against XG. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. I appreciate all your super thanks. These are small donations that allow me to continue making the high quality content that you enjoy. Again, my book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.